What is real and what is made up? Another way to say what is unreal or unreality. Now, oftentimes in life, we might think something is real. I mean, we can feel it. Maybe even have a gut feeling. We may look at something in our lives and say, yes, this is real. And then we as humans, we look for supporting evidence. Hi, I'm David, and this is Ultimate Mind Hacks. Today we're going to examine a phenomenon that we're going to call being in a story. Now, like anything we discuss on the channel, before we can get into this topic, let's all be aware that many of us are listening to my words today through a filter. Now, this filter might sound like something like,
Do I agree with David? I think I agree with him. No, I don't agree with David.
Now, all of us have this filter, and just for this show, just for our time together today, I'd like to ask you a favor. And it's a favor not for me, but more for you, so that you could hear what I'm saying. Because oftentimes when I think I don't agree with someone, I shut off my listening and I won't listen. And I can think of so many times when someone told me something that was worthwhile and I just wouldn't listen to them. And then later I was like, oh, you know what? That was useful. So I'm saying, even before we start, let's just open up our hearing to something that you might not understand right away or even agree with, or maybe you haven't had an experience with it yet. And sometimes when we don't have experiences with things, it's almost like,
well, I've never done that, so it's probably not worth doing, right?
So let's just get started. And I've got 3 ways right now on this show to tell reality from unreality. And that happens right now. Before we go any further, please like, please share, please subscribe, and consider supporting the show on Patreon, because Patreon members, they get special perks because, hey, they're supporting the show. Now, to be clear for today, a story is an account or interpretation of past events that are often mistakenly taken for what's actually happened. Let's just pretend that a woman was going to have a 3rd date with a man that she's very interested in. She may think of him, she might have feelings of excitement and looking forward to what could be with this man, but at the same time, she might have feelings of the past kind of creep in, and this could create some self-doubt as to why is she giving so much attention to this new man? While she likes him, she doesn't know him. She doesn't know if he feels similar, or even worse, what if she is just one of many other women and she is just an option for this guy? You know, this guy might not even share her feelings. If he's not contacting her the way she thinks he should, if he's not doing the things she thinks he should be doing, she could have a combination of both her past and her feelings. And sometimes feelings are very overwhelming. So we as humans do this crazy thing called we make meaning of things. And when we make meanings up, we often tread in the realm of unreality. Let's take this a little bit deeper by looking at these 2 circles. Now, the first circle, we are labeling what happened in reality. And the second circle is labeled a story. Now, what actually happened in reality, if we could actually write it in the circle? So she has a 3rd date, right? She has a 3rd date scheduled, right? The other reality is she's been thinking about this man. She may have some feelings like she likes him, but conversely, she has some other feelings like she doesn't want to get played. Now, unfortunately, our human brains tend to look for danger signals to keep us safe rather than allow us to just linger in the happy dreams of a new relationship. As humans, we tend to think that feelings make reality, rather than the truth that we all have feelings, and that while feelings can be strong, we also have some other things inside of us, namely logic. And while feelings come and go, we often have a higher view of ourselves where we are able to see feelings for what they are. Feelings are feelings. A feeling of anger doesn't mean you're an angry person, nor does a happy feeling mean you are a happy person. You choose who you are. And when your feelings come, you can experience them, of course. But remember that you are you, and you are not the feelings you have. let's go back to our scenario. So in this scenario, the woman thinks to herself that her new date is not chasing her the way she'd like. So a story is now being created that sounds something like, perhaps I shouldn't go on a third date. He might not be genuine. So if we put that into our thing here, right? Might not be genuine. And then we take a look at the reality. The reality is she has a third date. The beginning of this story is he might not be genuine, right? And so that's the story. So we'll put the story right down here. The story is he might not be genuine. And we'll put that right there. So now that we have the story, he might not be genuinely interested in me, we need to create some evidence around it, because just because we've said something, we still haven't really convinced ourselves of it. We need some evidence. Now, we could go talk to some other people and get evidence from them, but we usually start off by providing some evidence ourselves to make it seem real. If we go back to our circles, we can see, hey, he did not make a reservation, right? He might just have me as an option. He didn't even give me a time to meet up. He might have several other women, and he's like my ex. I've got to chase him. That's what I had to do with my ex. So if you see, he didn't make a reservation. He might have me as an option. He didn't give me a time to meet. He might have other women. I have to chase him. He's like my ex. Those are supporting evidence now for this story called He Might Be Genuine. Now, what happened in reality? In reality, she has a third date. That's what happened in reality. She has a third date. That's real. Both her date and her can agree on that. This other circle with these things in it, her date doesn't even know about. But she's made all these things in this story called He Might Not Be Genuine that absolutely don't have anything to do with what really happened. You know, all these feelings could result from avoiding the hurt of wanting to feel happy about her new person, but she doesn't want to get hurt. Her inner voice is literally taking over and casting doubt. And then in looking for this evidence, she is able to take what's real and change it. So she does have a third date scheduled, but in unreality, she has a story that she created called, perhaps I shouldn't go on a third date as he might not be genuine. It's a strange phenomenon. Now, anything in your life can be dealt with this way. Oftentimes myself, I'm thinking, this person must do this, or this client's this, or I wonder what's going to happen with that. And I get myself all worked up, and then I have to draw the two circles, right? And I have to go, okay, look, what's real? What happened in reality is I've got a date. My story about this is made up. Funny enough, when I do this, it's about 90% of the time, maybe even 95% of the time, I'm living my thoughts in unreality. And when I get to what's real, it's amazing. And sometimes I'll even tell the person, hey, we had this thing set up between us, and I made up all of these things about that. What do you think? And they'll be like, no, none of that's real. It's a good way to validate that a lot of us, including me, make up things. Anyhow, I hope you enjoyed today's show. Please join us below in the comments, subscribe on Patreon, and I'll see you next time.